Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Zuffa LLC Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix Final Conference Call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, for opening remarks, I'll turn the conference over to Mr. Ryan Grabb. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, operator. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix Final Media Conference Call. Before we get started today, I'd like to turn the call over to Showtime VP of Force Communications, Mr. Chris de Blasio.
Thanks, Ryan. On behalf of Steven Espinoza, our Executive Vice President, General Manager for Showtime Sports Programming, I want to thank Strikeforce, the four fighters on this call, and all the press for joining us. We made an announcement earlier this week via press release, but I did want to hit some of the key points. There was a lot of information in there, so just real briefly I wanted to run down. If you guys have any questions on it and how you can use this material that we're sharing, please contact us at your convenience. But just briefly, in preparation for the live event on May 19th, which will air live at 10 p.m. on Eastern and Pacific on Showtime, we have a number of replays airing on our Showtime Extreme channel during the week next week. So from Monday through Friday, we have replays of Gilbert Melendez and Josh Thomson's their second thrilling match from 2009. We will have Gil Melendez's fight against Tetsuji Kato, as well as Sergey Karatanov's and Josh Barnett's fight, Daniel Cormier's fight against Antonio Silva, as well as the first fight between Melendez and Thomson as well. So it's 4 nights next week: Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on Showtime Extreme at 10 p.m. We ask you to alert your readers and listeners to tune in and check it out. In addition, for those of you with websites, who I believe most of you do in the press, we have released a couple of videos, 2 short-form videos, our recaps. It's our sort of highlight recap mashup of Melendez-Thompson 1 and 2, as well as a recap of the heavyweight tournament so far. Give fans a chance to catch up. I know some of your websites have already posted it. We appreciate that. Just wanted to make it aware to those of you who may not have gotten into that press release we sent out earlier this week. And last but not least, we have also taken the liberty of posting full fights to our website, which are available for your website to embed if you wish. These are from first bell to the victory for several fights from I believe all the fights actually from the heavyweight tournament, as well as Josh and Gil's first 2 fights. So whether it's a replay on Extreme or online, you can catch these fights in preparation for the live event that's going to go down on the 19th. So I do want to thank you for your time and just tell Josh, Daniel, Josh Thomson, and Gil Melendez that we wish you the best of luck. We're thrilled to have you guys on the air. We know it's going to be one of the most exciting fights we've ever had on Showtime. We've been doing MMA since 2007, so we're expecting a big night, and we wish you all good luck. Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Chris. As a reminder, the Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix Final does air live on Showtime at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific with a tape delay on the West Coast on Saturday, May 19th from the HP Pavilion in San Jose, California. Additionally, Showtime Extreme will air 4 preliminary matchups beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Pacific, also with a tape delay on the West Coast. At this time, I'd like to introduce everyone to our guests on the call today. We begin first with the 2 finalists in the Heavyweight Grand Prix Tournament, Josh Barnett and Daniel Cormier. We're also joined by Strikeforce Lightweight Champion Gilbert Melendez and his opponent, Josh Thomson. One other announcement: following the call, Strikeforce CEO Scott Coker will make a few announcements regarding the next Strikeforce event. This time, I'd like to turn the call over to Mr. Scott Coker.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. I'd like to thank the media for attending today's conference call, as well as Showtime Television, our broadcast partner. It's been a great relationship since 2007 and then into 2008, and we look forward to many years in the future providing great MMA programming for Showtime. It's going to be amazing to bring Strikeforce back to the HP Pavilion, which everybody knows is the birthplace of Strikeforce. And I think it's been a little bit over a year since we've been back. So I know the fans are going to be excited, and we're all going to be pumped up down there in the South Bay. And again, it's so nice to have such a great fight card. Strikeforce is going to deliver an unbelievable show from top to bottom next Saturday night with the finals of the heavyweight tournament and the rubber match between Gilbert Melendez and Josh Thomson for the Strikeforce World Lightweight Championship. Also, we have another exciting rematch fight on the card between Sejao and Mike Kyle, plus 7 additional matchups to round out the night. So if you guys live locally in the area, come on down, and if not, tune into Showtime. It's going to be a great night of fights, and I'll turn it back to you, Ryan, at this point.
Thanks, Scott. Operator, this time can please open up for questions.
Certainly. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to ask a question, star one. Star one for questions, please. If you're using a speakerphone, please make sure the mute function is turned off before you signal so that it'll be read by our equipment. Star one for questions. We'll pause a moment to assemble the queue.
Operator, I'm not sure if there's anything you can do, but I'm hearing a bit of an echo on my end.
We'll try to isolate that.
Thank you.
We'll take our first question from Damon Martin with MMAweekly.com. Your line's open, sir. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Sorry about that. My first question is for Scott. Scott, I know that the finals of the heavyweight tournament are May 19th. I just wanted to double check the planning. Originally, when the new deal was announced, the winner of this fight was still going to have one more fight in Strikeforce. Is that still the current plan?
Yes, that is correct.
And are there any plans in place of what kind of timeline or opponents? Any of that stuff has been talked about or discussed?
There's been some preliminary conversations, but as you can imagine. Depends on who wins and if there's any injuries, things like that, and then any injuries, to other fighters that we might be looking to come fight the winner. So, that's something that we could probably have a better picture, once this fight's over and the outcome and see if there's, like I said, any injuries.
Okay. And next question is for Josh Thomson. Josh, I know that there seemed to be a lot of feedback when this fight was announced. I know that they talked about offering the fight to BJ Penn, and it seemed like there was some positive and negative feedback about this fight. But I just wanted to ask you, did you pay attention to any of that? Did that affect you at all when you heard some of that feedback?
No, not really. The promotions, they're going to do what they want to do, whether it's Strikeforce or UFC, the promoters, they're going to match the best fight they can have possibly, to match up with Gil. So whoever they felt they could get at the time, and I don't let things like that distract me. So it is what it is. And, if anything, I actually kind of, given that Healy had fought, I think, 4 or 5 times, I thought they were going to give it to Healy, to be honest, and then, and give me another fight in between the process. But, they came to me and asked me, and what else can you do? You can't turn down a title fight.
With that said, I know you talked about with your last fight, you changed up your training. You were very honest about your performance. It was not your best night. How have things been different in this camp? And was there any worry about the injury factor? I know you said that's why you changed some of the things the last time, but I know you admitted it kind of backfired on you in the actual performance in the fight.
What I did was I did change. I went back to kind of what I was doing before, but what I did is I got rid of a third workout in the middle of the day, so to keep myself from overtraining, and then just focused more on, on the techniques of it all. Just tightening up my game from the stand up to the ground to the, everything. Just kind of becoming a student, I guess, more of the sport again. Learning, keeping the stand up nice and tight. Getting back to, just straight punches and not, and not winging it and brawling. And then also just, trying to get back on, just wrestling and my grappling again. It's been my grappling kind of taking a back seat, just with all the injuries. So, just kind of spending some time with that, and just focusing from there.
And last question is, obviously, when you and Gilbert had your first 2 fights, obviously you were very dominant in the first one. Gilbert was very dominant in the second one. And a lot of people right away were saying, trilogy fight. And it seems like as time went on, obviously you had some time off and everything. Is there the same appeal, do you feel, for this third fight for you personally? I mean, is this a fight you've always wanted and been excited about, or was the timing just the matter of that's how it happened?
No, I think with every fight you got to work your way back to the position. The first time we fought, he was given like an automatic rematch, and then it just so happened that I got injured, and so he ended up fighting I think 2 fights in between there. So it really wasn't like he got a rematch, but he had an interim title, which at the time I felt a little different about. But I mean, given the circumstances that I was out for 15 months, it actually kind of been worked out that way. But it was better for the promotion to be able to promote that, there was a champion at the time. Both of us were champions, but one was actually fighting. And but I mean, that's the fight game, and that's the way it goes. But I think some of the luster, I think, has been lost because it has been so long. But I think a lot of the reason why is because I got injured again. I ended up tearing some ligaments in my wrist last year after the Cowajiri fight, and I was out for the whole year. So, that was the biggest problem. Other than that, I mean, everything else has been good since then.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take our next question from Heidi Fang, MMA Fight Corner.
Hello. My question is for Josh and for Daniel Cormier. And Josh Barnett. Now, if you were to win the Strikeforce tournament, and after that, all of the other competition has gone mostly to the UFC, what would your plans be? I guess we'll start with Josh first. After you win the tournament, or if you were to win the tournament, excuse me.
My plans are to keep fighting in Strikeforce. There would be another fight lined up if I was to win when I win this one, and thinking about all that stuff will do nothing but just give you a headache. That's all. Maybe what ifs. Totally unimportant for a fighter's mind. A manager can go ahead and think about that all they want to, ad nauseum. Let themselves rack their brains at night all about it. Fans, journalists, by all means, throw it off of each other as much as you want, get into arguments, start near riots, burn stuff. All good. Me, I do not care. It does not matter. I got to beat Daniel Cormier, and then after that, I'm sure there'll be somebody else. And whatever they're doing someplace else, more power to them.
And the same question for Daniel. If you were to progress and move up, win the tournament, and most of the competition is in the UFC, where do you see yourself fighting with Strikeforce still after the fight?
Josh kind of hit it on the head. It's a situation where your focus has to be solely on this one goal. Everything else will play itself out. Scott, everybody at Zoom have done a great job of letting us know that after this fight, you aren't going over, so that you have two fights in Strikeforce, so my idea is that I have this fight and another one in Strikeforce, and then whatever happens after that happens, because in reality, that's not till probably next year, so what's the point in thinking 7-8 months in advance when you got a guy like Josh Barnett standing in front of you? I'm not doing myself any disservice.
Okay, thank you.
We'll take our next question from Darnell Mason with MMA Hawaii.
Good afternoon, or good morning, gentlemen. It was great seeing both you, DC, and Josh Barnett in UFC 145 in Atlanta. Thank you for coming out. Questions for Mr. Coker. Mr. Coker, first question. When we see Strikeforce returning to Las Vegas, second question. Bobby Green, he's done almost everything but show up to Ryan Couture's gym to call him out. Are you going to make that match? And and when do we see Tyron Woodley? When are we going to see him again, Mr. Coker? Thank you.
Okay, let's start from the top. As far as coming back to Las Vegas, I think that door is always going to be open. But right now, we don't have anything planned to go back to Las Vegas right now. But we still have fights to announce, sometime in the late summer and then into late fall, into the fall. So, hopefully we will come back to Vegas at some point. In the meantime, there's, everybody can get their fill with the UFC. They're putting on some fantastic cards. Looking forward to a couple of the next matchups there. But as far as strike,
what about I guess?
Go ahead.
Yancy Medeiros. I know. Oh, sorry about that. I just remember. Gotta think of the Hawaii boys. When are we going to see him? I know he was came back from an injury. I'm pretty sure he's all but a phone call from being ready to go. When will we see Yancy back in the Strikeforce cage?
And I remember him quite well. He was actually very talented, and that's something that I reached out to Sean Shelby and asked him that question that you're asking me, because he was a guy that we definitely had our sights on him to give him some opportunities, and like you said, he's injured, but if he's back healthy, Sean would know, and he could tell you when they're going to schedule him.
Roger. And I guess Bobby Green and Ryan Couture. Are you going to make that match? Or?
Well, Bobby Green is going to be fighting on the undercard of the May 19th fight card. In San Jose. He'll be fighting James Terry, one of Kung Lee's students. So, let him compete there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
then take it from there.
Just news to me. I'm sorry. I didn't even know that. And my final question, sir, is I guess the winner of the heavyweight Grand Prix, what will be their award? Will there be a medal, a belt, crown?
Oh, we have a nice belt for them, actually. And it's going to be, it's been a long journey to this point, and very excited about the finals, and I look forward to wrapping that belt around one of the guys there.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And don't forget, there's always Hawaii. So plenty of space either the No Blaze Center or the San Sheriff Center. We'd love to have Strikeforce or UFC event here.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic.
Aloha and mahalo.
Thank you.
Showtime PR would love to go to Hawaii as well. Yeah.
We'll go next to Christian Chestnut with MMA Today Show.
Hi, thank you very much for your time today, guys. My first question is for Josh. Josh, after your last fight, you gave very interesting commentary about the style of catch wrestling and how it's an advantage for you in a lot of your fights. And you, I believe, termed it as the brutal art versus the gentle art of jiu-jitsu. Do you feel against a guy like Daniel with such a tremendous wrestling background that you'll still have that same advantage?
Yes. This is something I've been doing. I've been fighting for over going into 15 years now. So, of course I've got an advantage. Daniel's got 9 fights. I've got, with unsanctioned fights involved, over 50. So, I've been honing my craft longer. But Daniel's an Olympic athlete, and that is a big equalizer to any kind of athletic endeavor he's going to do. Now, I don't know how great he'd be at rhythmic gymnastics, but he's already an Olympic athlete, so I would still, lean that he would do better than others.
Okay. And my next question is for Daniel. Daniel, in terms of facing Josh with such a unique style in catch wrestling, which I believe he's the only fighter known really practicing at your guys' high level of fighting, do you feel like, how have you gone about preparing for that style, and have you tapped into your Olympic wrestling background in terms of training partners to get ready?
No. Fighting someone like Josh that does catch wrestling, it's difficult because there aren't many guys, like you said, not only at the highest level of the sport, but just guys, big guys that actually practice it. I've worked hard in my areas. I've got a great jiu-jitsu coach, Leandro Vera. We've really focused in on some of the areas that we've recognized in Josh's previous fights and focused on them. With that being said, I'm not necessarily sure that you can prepare for it, because when he does at a level that people can't even emulate. So it's going to be tough. I have to avoid the positions that I could get in trouble in. But I prepared as well as I can. I spend as much time in the areas as I need to, and most times that usually equals success.
One follow-up question for Daniel. I know you're training out of AKA, and your stand-up is an evolving feature of your game. How has it evolved since your last fight? And, do you feel like it's progressed? Because you obviously have a heavy hand. You're obviously very heavy-handed, which knockout of Bigfoot Silva.
Yeah. Training area is going to get you better. I have to train with Cain Velasquez 3 days a week, and obviously he's recognized as one of the best heavyweights in the world. So if I don't get better, I'm just going to get killed. So it's gotten better. I think with the injury to my hand, I haven't improved as much as I would want to, as I was between fights before. But I've gotten better during this training camp. I started going pretty hard since January, getting prepared for the fight, working on my stand-up, and I think it's gotten better. As much as I like to improve in between fights, maybe not so much because I couldn't, because I re-broke my hand, but it's better than when I fought Bigfoot. I'm positive of that.
Okay. My next question, if I may, is for Josh Thomson. Gilbert Melendez honored us by joining us on the MMA Today show about a week ago, and we talked about fighting somebody who had once taken his strap and whether or not that was, a little more personal than fighting somebody who maybe is a first impression. Do you feel now fighting Gilbert, who has just taken the strap back from you, do you feel that this is more of a personal fight than if you were to fight somebody who you have never gone up against before?
No, I mean, you can ask Gilbert after I beat him the first time. I think he kind of took it a little personal. I mean, we used to see each other around for about a year, and I kind of just pulled him aside a little bit and just talked to him like man to man. Just said, hey, to me, I want you to understand that this is just a business, man. It's nothing personal at all. And, I still respect you, care for you, think you're a great guy. We had trained together from before that, and it was definitely nothing personal. And then when he beat me, I had nothing but great things to say about him, and that'll never change. Whether he beats me again or whether I beat him, it doesn't really, it's not going to change. I don't look at fighters with any ill will whatsoever. It depends. It doesn't matter who it is and who's getting in the cage. Some of these guys need to get mad and angry and stay away from them for their training camp. I could really care less, because at the end of the day, when all the money's gone and everything's gone, that dude's still going to be somebody that I respect and I can actually try and talk to and be friends. I don't really give a crap about all the other stuff,
Okay, one follow-up question for both of you. How is the California local connection buzz treating both of you? Is it fun? Is it a little more stressful?
Yeah.
I believe you guys are only about 45 minutes apart from each other.
Oh yeah, I mean the connection. I think it doesn't bother us at all. We have mutual friends, so I think sometimes we get Twitters or Facebook messages or just we run into friends and they're like, man, it's cool you guys are fighting again, but it kind of sucks because we're both friends with both of you, or hey, Gil's my boy, but I like you, you're a nice guy, and stuff, but I gotta root for Gil and that kind of thing, But like I said, at the end of the day, I don't look at that shit personally. It is what it is, People are still friends, and that's what you expect out of it is that they still want to be your friend,
Yeah, absolutely. And Gilbert, how do you feel about that local connection?
I mean, it's cool. Josh is a tough guy, and it's always fun to have a little battle in NorCal, and it's good for the buzz, and a little bit of bragging rights in the Bay. Definitely respect Josh, and I try to stay off all the Twitter and check all that stuff out. But yeah, man, it's always cool. Josh is a tough opponent, so it'll be fun.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for your time. You're all tremendous fighters, and I wish all of you the best of luck on the 19th.
Thanks.
And ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, *1 for questions. *1, please. We'll take our next question from Rich Bergen with FightNewsUnlimited.com.
All right. Hey, guys. My question is sort of a general one for all the fighters. Just wondering what is your opponent's greatest strength and how will you overcome it? This fight.
Daniel's pretty good at the butterfly.
I think Josh's position is his leg locks and heel hooks. I mean, I think that's pretty common knowledge. Everybody knows that dude gets a hold of your leg and he takes it home with you. So I'm pretty sure that's his best position.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer that. Josh is a pretty complete MMA fighter, so we kind of worry about just one strength. He's got to be everything. He's definitely durable. He's usually in shape, and he's good everywhere. He's an MMA fighter, so just got to be prepared for everything.
With regards to Gil, I mean, it really comes down to his mind. I mean, I think he's possibly one of the most mentally strong guys I've ever fought. And if not the mentally strongest guy I've ever fought. So, that's really where I think the fight I'll be won and lost, with him is I got to try and get him close to his breaking point. And, that's the toughest part to get to. And I don't, most fighters don't last that long, But with him, it's pretty hard to get him there.
All right. And my next question is for Scott Coker. Scott, with the Strikeforce heavyweight division leaving, do you see a day when the UFC's owners will fold all of Strikeforce into Zuffa?
So are you asking, could you repeat the last part of your question again one more time? Just the last part.
Do you see a day when the UFC's owners will fold all of Strikeforce into Zuffa?
Well, here's the thing: is that you know what? The way I feel is the heavyweight division. You know, they all agreed that there wasn't going to be enough athletes to support both, and they wanted to bring in some of the fights over there at that time. But you know, now that the Showtime relationship is been renewed and has been solid, you know what? I think you're going to see those great fights on the lighter weights, starting with light heavyweight on down in Strikeforce. So to me, I think that we have a great relationship with Showtime. I think we have provided great fights with great ratings, and they've done a lot to support the brand. So I think you'll continue to see Strikeforce on Showtime for many years to come.
And we'll take our next question from Stephen Morocco with MMAJunkie.com. Please go ahead.
Hey, first question is for Josh. It's been kind of a long stretch between the semifinals and the finals, and there's been obviously some uncertainty that's arisen as a result of Daniel breaking his hand and then re-breaking it. Has that affected your training camp at all? Has it made it feel any more fractured than usual?
Yes and no. This camp has been, well, I mean, the camp has been just, 2 months. That's been the focus. Before that, you get going a little bit, but there was nothing settled and nothing, no date set. So there was no camp at that point. So I didn't wear myself out. I've just been keeping in shape and staying in the gym and enjoying my time, just being on the mat and being a part of it. Even for this camp, I got the opportunity to go to the Air Force Academy and train with Joel Sherritt, and that's at over 7,000 altitude as well. With great wrestling partners out there like Bobby Lashley and Eric Hammer and Joel and some of the wrestlers at Air Force. So I've got nothing to complain about. Everything has been done. It's just up to me to get in the ring at this point.
And I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but didn't you train with somebody who had beaten Daniel in college or competed with him or something like that?
I don't think I wrestled with anybody that wrestled with Daniel in college. I just worked with some folks that were very aware of Daniel as a wrestler from his college days and from watching him at the OTC.
And what did you pick up from them? Did you get any sort of new insights into Daniel or maybe an approach to the fight?
Oh, a lot of insight, like, what kind of food he likes, how he likes his mashed potatoes, his favorite catchphrases. I mean, we got pretty deep.
Did this help you in your dance-off with him in Columbus?
It did. I knew a bit of his weaknesses on the dance floor, so I knew how to apply my strength in that direction. And now I guess I gotta do it in the ring.
Yeah, who do you guys think would win in a rematch in that on the dance floor?
Well, I've got to be confident, man. I've got some pretty light feet. I think I can win this.
All right. Question for Josh. I know you said it's you look at a lot of this stuff as business and it's not personal, but I'm wondering how you felt or maybe whether you expected Gilbert to sort of express some misgivings about fighting you a third time and not going over to the UFC. And is that something that you expected? Did it affect you at all, or?
No, not at all. I mean, he feels, if that's the way he feels, that's the way he feels. I mean, I got criticized for telling people that I felt like my performance was crap, after the last fight. People were on Twitter.
Okay. And Gilbert, have you sort of changed your mindset as to the relevancy of this fight and your time in Strikeforce? I know that Dana was saying earlier this past week actually that he kind of regretted not being able to bring you over, but that you were a Strikeforce guy and that's kind of the way it was.
I mean, initially you want to try to fight someone who raises your stock, and Josh is a tough opponent. He's another tough opponent to have to fight that isn't on the radar because of the UFC. You know what I mean? Just like all of us here going through the same stuff, just like Jorge Masvidal was, another tough guy. So, you know, for business moves, you try to fight guys who have big names. There's a lot of guys in the UFC that have, you know, bigger names than us just because of the UFC that I think are easier initially. But once that was over with and I knew that wasn't happening and I knew I had to fight Josh, I accepted it. And I know it's a tough task at hand, so I've been focused on it ever since. And, you know, and it's what I do for every fight. I'm a professional at this sport. I train hard, I do my work, and I go to work and I do my best.
Do you expect anything different from him, or, you know, given his last performance and then what you've seen from him recently?
I expect a couple things, yeah. I think Josh is a durable fighter. Again, he's always in great shape, and I know he has some tricks. But I'm more anxious to show the skills I've been training, you know, I've been doing. You know, since our last fight, I haven't stopped training once at all, you know. Maybe for 6 weeks when I hurt my hand against Aoki, but other than that, I've been training hard and just trying to improve.
Nate Diaz gave you a really big part of his spotlight when he was giving his post-fight speech after his win over Jim Miller. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, I don't know. Words can't describe it. You know, I was a little touched. You know, it says a lot about my boy Nate. You know, for the biggest day of his life, he gives me the biggest shout out I've ever had. You know, it feels good. You know, you know, that's family right there. You know, that's a real friend right there, and you know, and it feels good. You know, and I'm very proud of him, and I'm excited he has a title shot. I think he's going to win that title.
Did you expect it? Or did he tell you he was going to do it, or did he surprise you?
Well, I was laughing because everyone's like, Nate won me over with his speech. You know, if anyone watches the Nate Diaz fight, he always gives us love. He gives everybody love all the time. I mean, you know, he so happened to give me a lot of love this one, but that's his thing. His victory speech was giving thanks to everybody, you know, and just this time it stood out even more. But no, it didn't surprise me at all. It was just the kind of guy he always is. But yeah, of course, I was slightly surprised with how big of a shout out he gave me, and you know, it's his big day, and he did that, and that means a lot, but it's funny, you know.
All right, thanks, guys.
No problem.
And we'll go next to Damon Martin with MMAweekly.com.
Yeah, a couple of questions for Gil. Gil, let me start here because, you know, we talked a lot about the fact that, you know, they offered the fight to BJ Penn. Now it's Josh Thomson. I know you said very candidly you want to be the number one lightweight in the world. Do you feel like this is the kind of fight that's going to push you to that level, or is this another kind of fight altogether?
Well, I kind of redone my goals a little bit, you know. Obviously, to be the number one fighter in the world, you got to be the UFC champ. It's just the way it is, you know. And you know, and right now I'm just trying to put on shows and you know, and get better in the sport, and you know what I mean, and just get better and take some risk out there. And you know, I'm really trying to just become a really good martial artist right now, and you know, and deliver, you know. But I'm not worried about that no more. You know, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing and performing, and I'm trying not to look at that anymore. You know, just trying to find different motivation, like the paycheck, and you know, and my team and my family.
How hard of a transition was that for you? Because I know you said, you know, in many of the interviews I've done with you, and pretty much every interview, that your goal was to be the number one guy in the world. I mean, how tough was that for you to change that motivating factor going into fights?
It's actually been good. You know, it's been fun. You know what I mean? Like you know, I'm going to be doing this for a long time. You know, I hear Barnett talking about he's been fighting for 15 years, and you know, and if I'm going to do this, you know, I'm going to have fun and not be stressed coming out to every practice, you know, and just do the best I can do, and you know, and that's what I've been doing, just training my butt off, and you know, the stress is there, but not so bad, and you know, it is what it is, you know, and you know, I just gotta roll with the punches on this.
How much conversation do you have, Gilbert, with the higher ups at Strikeforce regarding your place in the company and also, you know, future fights? Your focus is on Josh. I know that's what's important right now, but obviously that was the question before Josh got announced. You know, who is going to fight you? Who are they going to bring in? What could be done? I mean, have you had those discussions, or do you just kind of leave that alone and just trust in the fact they'll find people to fight you?
Well, you know, initially I had those discussions, and there was some, you know, some hope of maybe fighting BJ. You know, even some talk of maybe, you know, Gray. But you know, but that's all it was, talked. You know, it never became inked in paper or nothing like that. And then, you know, but and then they said Josh, you know, was the thing, and you know, so I'm cool with that as well.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
And as a reminder to the audience, star one for questions. Star one, please. We'll take our next question from Mike Searson with lowkick.com.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Hello?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. First question is for Josh Barnett. You got an incredible record. How does it feel going up against a guy who's undefeated?
Doesn't feel like anything. If a guy fights once and wins, he's undefeated.
True.
Who? Anybody. I'm just saying, the term undefeated is not really, it's incredibly relative. For me, all I care about is the person, not the record, not, none of that, all that statistical stuff is garbage to me. I can see the guy fight. I can tell what he does. I can dissect the fights that he's had, but looking on paper and just saying, he's undefeated, or he got 3 losses, or he got 17 losses. Well, if the guy's got 17 losses, he's at least been in the ring 17 times, so that says something in and of itself.
Very good, thanks. That's all I got.
Thank you. And we have no further questions in the queue. That just concludes today's question and answer session. I would like to turn the conference back to the speakers for any additional or closing remarks.
Yeah, I'd like to thank our fighters for joining us on the call today. At this time, I'd like to have Mr. Scott Coker make a few announcements regarding the next Strikeforce event. Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I'm really happy to announce that Strikeforce will be going back to Portland, Oregon at the Rose Garden Arena on July 14th this year. And the main event will be Luke Rockhold versus Tim Kennedy for the middleweight title. And also we have Keith Jardine fighting Hodger Gracie. And this fight will be at middleweight, as well as, we just got this confirmed before the call, Robbie Lawler versus Lorenz Larkin in a middleweight bout. So we're excited about that. And ticket information will be coming soon in the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Scott. At this time, I'd like to thank you all for attending the call today.
Thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude today's conference. We appreciate your participation. You may disconnect at this time.